Thanks for tuning in for Pop Conscious. Once again, here to help you connect entertainment and enlightenment in your everyday life are your hosts, Milena Don and Stacey Macris Ross.
Hello and welcome back to Pop Conscious. I'm Stacey Macris Ross with my friend Milena Don, and we have a special guest with us today, Tara Hernandez, who is a writer and producer of Big Bang Theory, the TV show that's been on for 8 years now. I don't know how that's possible. So we also wanted to talk to Tara about her project that she started. It's called Playground Project Ethiopia. So tell us more about that, Tara.
Yeah, so the Playground Project, it's just like it sounds. It aims to build a playground in the village of Debre Birhan, Ethiopia, which was a place I was so fortunate to visit in 2003. While I was on hiatus from the show, I went there as a team member for Habitat for Humanity to build some homes. And the project really... I'd love to say that it was just like this beautiful, like eye-opening experience, but it really challenged me in a lot of ways. I think, it really kind of pushed me emotionally and physically. And so kind of from that like growth and that experience, I knew that I was meant to have it. And so I wanted to do something, more, because what kind of pulled me through the experience were getting to know these kids who are just so like these bundles of energy, and they're just so full of life, and their desire to play is so strong that I was like, you know what? They really changed my experience and really made this what I wanted it to be. And so when I got back, I just thought about it and meditated on it, and a playground was really sticking out to me. So teamed up with a great organization called Kids Around the World, and through that we launched the Playground Project in November of last year. And as of the middle of May, we installed 2 of our playgrounds.
Oh, nice. Wow.
Yeah, so they're up, and they're open for business. So the kids are, the kids are going out, they're learning about, slides and swings and all these things for the first time. I mean, there's nothing like this in the entire country, really. And, so they're having to learn about you don't stand in front of each other when someone's on a swing, or how to wait in line to get on a sled. I heard there's a lot of bruises happening, but they'll learn, and they'll teach each other in future generations. So that's up. We're working on our soccer field and our volleyball court and our basketball court. So it's a big site, and not just the playgrounds, but a major project.
I noticed when I looked it up online, it's if anybody wants to go and look it up right now. It's at org.grouprev.com/playground Ethiopia. And I've put it on our Facebook page. If you click the banner that I made of Tara and the logo of the Playground Project is there, you'll see the link there. That might be easier to find it. But it says that your campaign goal was 57,200, and in 6 days you've made it 95%. But it says that this campaign, there are 6 days left to reach the fundraising goal.
Yes.
So there's your time limit, people. If you feel like contributing to it, there's 6 days to help her reach the goal. And it's good to know that it's already being put to use and kids are already playing on it. And it's interesting too, one of our previous guests, Kelsey Timmerman, he travels and looks at where people he wrote, "Where am I wearing?" So he goes to the countries where his clothes have been made.
Oh, wow.
And one of the things that he talked about was playing with local children. It helped also connect beyond language, and, smiles and joy. And then also what you said reminded me of our friend Bennett Quintard from Unity of the Oaks. He went to Ecuador and just got back last month. He was there for 8 months as part of a bridge year, and he's now started a Unity Global Initiative Scholarship. So they have candidates that are being looked at now to get money to help them do trips like you did to, participate. I'm not sure what the criteria is, but it's for those who have global initiative who want to take Unity principles out into the world and to help educate them as part of, before college or however they want to use it. Stacey, do you have more that you can add to it since you're on the board of it?
Yes. Well, that's for our graduating seniors in high school who want to go on to college, or if you've been in Unity and you have your bachelor degree, you're going on for a postgraduate work, and it has to do with, like you said, anything that has to do with helping the world and that wider global view. So if that's what your interest is, then there's now a scholarship to help support you either in your undergraduate or graduate work to do that.
Yeah, and you can Google that. It's Unity Global Initiative Scholar.org, I think it might be the website. Google it. I helped them get the URL, but I can't remember exactly what it was. And Bennett created that lovely website. So do check it out if that sounds interesting to you. But Bennett came and spoke at Unity of the Oaks a few weeks ago. You can hear it. It's up online at unityoftheoaks.org. And he wrote 2 songs. And one of the things he said about the experience, because he was in a house in a village with a family, he said, a lot of it was inspiring, but a lot of it was just really boring. That you expect this, amazing, constant, eye-opening, challenging experience, but part of the challenge is very mundane. Learning how to be yourself when there's nothing going on and nothing to do. And I had a bit of that when I lived in Sri Lanka, of how to create myself in a space where I didn't have to do anything else, where nothing else was expected of me. And then what calls me? What do I want to create?
Right.
So what inspired you to take what you had learned and give back? I mean, how did you then start it and make the connection and tell people? How did you get $54,000+ already?
I know.
That's amazing.
It's really incredible. I'm just overwhelmed, and it just shows you how you're surrounded by so many people just like who are really willing to give when you ask for things like this. But I mean, I think it kind of came from a place of like, why not? I'd never done anything like this before. I'd never undertaken, anything like this. I'd never raised money for maybe like Girl Scouts, but that's it. You're like, well, I want to do it. And it's like this nagging voice in the back of your head. And you're like, well, what if I just put it into action and see what happens? And so it kind of just started from that place. And I just remember kind of the first couple of emails, and it just really was being fed by a lot of people who are really excited about it. So yeah, I've told people, I've met so many great individuals through the project that I'm so grateful for. I mean, people have come into my life because of this. And they'll say, well, I kind of always thought I wanted to go on a trip, or I thought I wanted to do this, or maybe like volunteer. I'm like, why not? Just do it.
Right.
No excuses, kind of jump in and see what happens. But yeah, as far as the money goes, there's been so much grassroots campaigning, or not like fundraising. My mom and my dad we call it the bakery biz, and they bake, and her and her friends and her clients all bake, and then they take it to my work and they sell, this basket of baked goods. So it's been everywhere from that to, the show being a really good kind of outlet to get people, eyes on the project. Fortunately, the show has enough popularity that I think our website has over 12,000 views.
Wow.
So even if people aren't able to kind of contribute financially, they're interested in things like this, and maybe they take that into their own life. So I encourage everyone, just look at the website and see if it kind of sparks your desire to do something similar.
Well, one of the things you said was they were learning how to not stand in front of swings, and learning how to stand in front of people on the bottom of the slide. And the picture on the website is, you have to climb up to get to the slide, and there are levels. It's like a 3-dimensional thing. And one thing I noticed in Sri Lanka about the education system is it's very different from what we grew up with. And I would see things that were obvious to me, but weren't obvious to the people who had grown up with local education, which was not in English. It was not the British system, which is still available there, but the local schools are in Sinhalese, the native language, or Tamil. And things like, if you get a cut, how to keep it clean and not get infected. The idea of things getting infected, at least with some of the people I interacted with, was not something that they were aware of. Or we had one person at our house who was doing some work, and he went into a bathroom that the door opened in, and then he locked it. And when he tried to go out, he was trying to push it out, and it never occurred to him to try to pull it in to see if it worked. There was a staircase on the other side, a cement staircase that he was pushing against. So it was not going to give no matter what he did. But I heard the noise of he was banging as hard as he could to open that door outward, and it wasn't going to happen. And so I finally had to go open the door and say, are you okay? Is everything okay? But it was kind of those sort of puzzle pieces of that they were missing in their experience as children, growing up in a village perhaps, or without having 3 dimensions to work in and play in.
Right.
So now this will develop the brains of the children to maybe understand the spatial and physical connection in the 3-dimensional world.
Absolutely. And I should mention it's also, it's the actual location of the playground is on a site that's a proposed school that's going to educate over 1,000 children every day, which is why we needed our play site to be so massive, is because there's only so many kids you can put on, swing sets. So, it's, I'm not going to bore you with all the studies, but there's so much information out there about how play is so integral to education.
Right.
Not just for, the politics that we're talking about, like learning to stand in line or, spatial awareness, but also just how, you need to exert that energy to like go sit into a classroom and be read to or learn to read. Here in the U.S., every school has a playground. I think it would be an outrage if it didn't. So I think it's very important that, these children have as much opportunity to learn in the classroom on the playground as any kid here.
I actually learned something like that from Stacy when you were homeschooling Julian, I think, and you had learned that boys especially learn better when they're moving. And so you applied that into his education when he was still being homeschooled.
And there was a teacher in Minnesota actually who she created a desk that had you could stand at and then swing your feet. So it wasn't disruptive. It was still under a desk, but they could still have that movement. Or there was they could kind of sit down like a stool on there too, but it could either be, could sit on it and swing, or you could stand and kind of swing. So absolutely. So I'm wondering, as we wrap up our time together, because it seems to me, Tara, that you're an incredible manifester. So what is the next thing, your big goal or your next goal as far as what you want to manifest, and then also how people can get a hold of you?
Sure, absolutely. So, my immediate goal is absolutely finishing the funding of this project, which, like we said, there's, only 5% left. So that's something I'm really excited about. And then, just to continue on this quest, I want to continue with this show for as long as they'll have me, which is 2 more years guaranteed, and continue to be open to things. I think I've learned to be more open-hearted and open-minded, and just allow things to kind of happen.
So, very good. All right.
Awesome. Well, so your information will be on our website.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. Yes.
Very good.
Please.
Well, thank you. Yes. Thank you for being our guest today. Anything from you, Milena, before we leave?
No, I think that's it. We're Pop Conscious, and we'll be back next week. And check out all of our previous shows in our archives at unity.fm/popconscious. That's us.
Till next Monday. Bye-bye.
Thanks for being Pop Conscious with Milena Dawn and Stacy Macris Ross. Enjoy previous episodes anytime in our archives here on Unity Online Radio. Download the podcast from iTunes and join us live every Monday at 2 p.m. Central for more insights into how spirituality and pop culture connect in your life every day.